Hello and welcome back. We are doing a tutorial on robots, construction bots, logistics bots, and all things bots. Okay, sorry, I'm running around far too fast. Alright, we have here some extra doobies. So, I'm wearing legs. 2 legs. They mean I'm moving fast. And I'm actually moving too fast to be able to get to where I want to be. I jump around too much. I can toggle the legs on and off here. Okay. Can you see? Slowly, fast. Similarly, if I were to put this down, it would be a race between my personal bots and the house bots to see who's going to build it. I can turn off my personal bots. Then my personal bots don't fly out. Turn them back on. My personal bots do the job. Okay. So it's really useful sometimes to intentionally disable your bots, either because you want the house robots to deal with it, or because you're designing using blueprints, and while you're designing, you don't want your bots to be placing. Particularly now we have the shortcut keys for cut and paste and those sorts of things. It's just a lot easier sometimes to design in ghost mode, where there's no house bots to build things. Right. So, let's have a look at more tech. Okay, so this is an end game tech. If you are speedrunning, you don't unlock this. It's not part of critical path. But it's incredibly useful. It's one of the techs you need if you're doing mega basing later on. You may well need it at this point if you're on a rail world or somewhere else where you're doing a lot of supply pickups, drop-offs. It lets the robots manage your logistics for you. So we're going to start this research, and it's being researched for us. It's a very expensive research. It takes, I think it's 1,000 packs. Maybe it's more. 500 packs. Yeah. So it's a non-trivial research. When you think the rocket silo is 1,000 packs, so this is half the research for a rocket silo unlock. What it does do though is give you new coloured boxes. So beforehand we had the reds and the yellows. We now have purples, greens, and blues. So let's start with the purple. Alright, so we are going to make purple boxes. We are going to make yellow boxes. Sorry, blue boxes, and we are going to make green boxes. They all have the same ingredients, near enough. Yeah, 3 greens, 1 red. What's this? Yeah, 3 greens, 1 red. Alright. So we can copy paste this. Okay, did you see I caught those ghosts before they actually got built? Alright, and I can copy that. Again, kill that ghost before it gets built. Alright. And these can't build yet because they don't have this. So to place down ghosts, just to remind you, I'm doing what I would normally do to build the item, but holding down shift. That places a ghost instead. In creative mode, I can build things a long way away. In the main game, you can only build things in immediate vicinity, but you can place down ghosts anywhere. So it lets you build without walking. Alright, so we're making some boxes. We're putting boxes in boxes. Let's find out what they do. Alright, so pick up one of these. There we are. And let's put something in it. Immediately, logistics bots come and they try to empty the box. So this purple box is an active provider. You probably only need 50 or 100 of these ever in the whole of a playthrough normally. So anything you put in a purple box is ultra high priority for the logistics bots to pick up. It's like putting things in your trash slot. So it's like the factory putting things in a trash slot. So if you imagine, do we even have trains unlocked? No, we don't. Okay, let's unlock trains. So trains. And while we're doing trains, let's do signals. All right, so I hate that flashing. I wish it would either time out or die. All right, so let's say we've got some train track. We need a stack of train track. Okay, and let's say we have a carriage, and we've parked the carriage, we've stopped at the station, and say this carriage is full of junk, stone and bits of wood and whatever. Okay, so let's say it's left over from building a solar field. It's the stuff you've moved out the way of your solar field. So what could you do? You could dump this into steel chests, but after a while the steel chests would just fill up. Okay, so a better solution is to dump it into purple chests. Okay, let's power this. So it's busy emptying out the train carriage of all your trash. And then what happens? Logibots come along, pick it up because it's ultra high priority. Now those boxes are empty. Your train goes off, your train comes back. It's full of junk again. This time it's some arms we didn't want, some old style. Right? All that stuff gets put into these boxes. Because they are priority to be emptied, bots come along, empty it. Awesome! That's all working. Okay, so next thing. Do you see all these things got emptied? They are just going into storage. Okay, let's imagine you're a bit keen about your storage. Okay, for whatever reason, let's say I want trashed wood to end up here. Imagine I'm going to feed it into a boiler or something. Right, so I can set a logistics filter. I can say small power poles. Wood, wherever that's hiding there. Whoops. Wood. Let's say this one, I want stone to go in here. Okay. So, in here, let's pick up small power poles, stone, wood. Logistics bots will come in. Let's trash this, trash this. Okay, so they're in my trash. So the bots want to get rid of it. They pick it up and they're going to preference putting it into the filtered chest. Okay, now let's simulate this chest being full by doing that. Take all that out. Okay, so we could equally have put material in there. So bots come in. They've picked up a lot of stone. They're going to dump it in here. Okay, but this box is capped at 2 stacks. So what happens? Well, when it's run out of its 2 stacks, it just gets dumped anywhere. Which is fair enough. You know, what else would it do? So it's now going to empty all these stones into wherever the stone will go. And the next place it would go after this is here. If we removed this and set the limit to there, it's now going to pick it up. Okay. It's all a bit hinky now, right? Because it wanted it to put it in there, but it couldn't. So once it couldn't, where's it going to put it? let's do that. Where is it going to go? So some of it will go in there. And once it's full, it'll go over that. Okay, now, let's imagine we have this stone. And we want, sorry, let's put all my stone in there. So it's in this storage. We want to get the stone in here. Let's say we are going to turn stone into landfill. That would be a reasonable thing to want to do. Okay, so we are going to take the stone from there, put it in there, set this to landfill. And landfill is not unlocked. There we are. Okay, so landfill. It's a funny icon because I've got alien biomes on. Okay, so we would then stick this in a provider chest, so it's provided to the network. So this is busy emptying this of landfill. Okay, now to simulate this, I am going to take away this stack and most of that stack. So this winds down to 0. Okay, it can't make any more landfill, but we have lots of stone in this box. How do we get this stone into this machine? And this is where the next type of chest comes in. So this is a requester chest. And as the name suggests, it's a chest which requests things. So there are all, you can set as many logistics requests as you wish. We're going to request stone. So this says this box would like to always have 50 units of stone in it, please. It's like my logistics request, except in a box. So this is going to try to have 50 items in. But you can see every time there's items put in, they're being fed into the landfill machine. The landfill machine is turning them into landfill. So the count here keeps going down, which means the logistics bots keep bringing new items. Can't argue with that. Okay. That's pretty cool. So I didn't need a belt here, and I didn't need to know which storage box the stone was in. The bots just work it out. So bots give you a high energy solution for plumbing any inputs to any outputs. Okay, and you can see at the moment they're all coming from here and roosting here. At some point this roboport would get full. They'd have to roost somewhere else. You can end up with weird feedback loops where they fill up this roboport or that roboport, and so people who really care about logibots control the numbers carefully. Okay, so let's illustrate that here. All right. So let's delete this rock. Whoops. Turn off my bots. That's better. Delete this rock. Right. So there are no robots in this network because they're separate from this one. But the construction range of this overlaps. So these will pick up the rocks. Okay. However, if I put down a requester chest saying, please give me stone, please give me coal, please give me stone. There are no incoming requests. Right now, let's run over here. Sorry, press Alt. I toggled out of Alt mode somehow. Let's take some of these, put them in there. So we have logistics bots. They're going to pick up the stone from my inventory, put it in there from my trash. But this box is in a separate network to here. So it can't see the coal which is in this network. If we hover over this box, there are 46 units of coal in the network. This is requesting 50, can't see it. The only way it can see it is if we bridge the networks. And now that the networks are bridged, this can request the coal. And if I hover over it, you can see those bots highlighted in green. So if you've put down a request, it's not being serviced, you believe it should be, double check that you haven't split the networks. If I take that away, the request will be serviced. We're in separate networks again, so they roost in a roboport that's owned by the network that owns the box. If we go to the map view again, turn on Logi network, you can see this gap. This is where the networks were separate. Let's bridge them back again. Okay. So then we've done the red boxes. They offer items up to the network. Storage boxes, they are somewhere to put items fairly indiscriminately, although you can filter them. So whenever there's an item that needs to be dumped out, doesn't have anywhere else to go, it will go into storage. Purples, whatever gets put in there, the system tries to put it somewhere else. It'll prioritize putting it into a requester. If there's no requester that wants it, it'll put it into a storage with a filter set that matches. If there's no room in a box with a filter, it'll send it out to a yellow box indiscriminately. The light blues, powder blues, they request items. They say, please give me. And they will request them from storage and from red boxes. And then there was a little checkbox here, request from buffer chest. Buffer chests are the green ones. Okay. And these ones are a bit weird. So let's illustrate it with a little pipeline. All right, let's find a quick way to fake this. Okay, so this is going to be a machine that makes yellow belts. Okay. Great, so we want to put them somewhere. Let's imagine we put them into a provider. That's a perfectly sensible thing to do. Cap the provider to 400 items so that there are 400 belts in the network. Okay. We play. We discover red belts. And red belts take as an input gears and yellow belts. So, gears, yellow belts. And on we go. And then later on you've got blue belts. So this is making yellow belts. It's then feeding them into the red belt maker. And then the red belt maker is dumping them out there. At the moment I have a logistics request for 200 belt, and that's mucking this up. Okay. So at the moment all the gears we're making are ending up in the yellow machine. Let's put in a second inserter there. That should speed up the gears to the point where some make it through. There we go. Right, so we are making red belts out of yellow belts, and this is capped at 400. Now, I've got 100 and odd belts in my inventory. Let's dump those there. So there's 100 yellow belts in storage. And we are filling this up. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Right, so what we can do is connect this arm to the logistics network. And what we can say is, do not only make them if there are less than 200 in the network. So I don't want there to be more than 200 yellow belts within the network. There are more than 200 logistics belts in the network, so this arm is no longer working, right? Now let's take some of these out. Okay. And I'm going to put these extra ones in here to make a point. Alright, so So within the logistics network, there are 271 yellow belts. So this is no longer going to make any belts. But this needs to consume belts to work. And there are no belts in this box, so it can't work. The old style solution to this was to put a requester chest here that requested in yellow belts. That works. It's ugly. The new solution is to use a buffer chest. So this buffer chest works. It has a logistics request. So we can request in yellow belts. So we can request 100 yellow belts. Okay. And do you see these bots here? They are coming down to this storage chest. They're grabbing 100 yellow belts, dumping them into this box. Okay, so this arm isn't working. But this box is being filled up. So we are now pulling our yellow belts out of storage. But if I request yellow belts, I've requested 100 of them. This is then able to pull them out from this box, because this is, as a buffer chest, it always also acts as a storage chest. Now that there's 100 less belts in the network, there's under 200, so this arm works, starts buffering them up. If I trash these, then bots will come, pick them up. Ah, it's getting confused with one of those loops, right? But you get the idea. So these can both request in items, but once they're requested in, they don't disappear from the Logi network. They are there for other requests. Okay, so if I put down a powder blue box here, and I request 300 yellow belt, what happens? Well, hover over this. There's 100 that can be delivered. So are they on the way? Yes, they are. But I requested 300. And I know there are belts in here. So by default, this box can pull from storage and can pull from red boxes, but not from green ones. To make it pull from green ones, I have to check this button. As soon as I do that, it can start pulling from there. All right, so why do I care? Right, so this is the first train where we're just trying to trash everything. Right, we're now going to make a second train, which is our building train. And I am going to request from Baby Blues some belt. Okay. So we have some belts. There are 74 being delivered. That's fine. So these then get dumped into my building train. I would then ship these off to where I'm going to build a nice factory with yellow belts. None more are being delivered. Okay, but if I do that and then copy, paste, now these are requesting from buffer chests. So these can request from this chest here into our building train. And there you go. So this is the sort of thing you can do with buffer chests. So then our building train would fill up. Pretty cool. And there you are. So this is the basics of how you use logistics chests, buffer chests, requesters, and providers in your starter factory. This is the sort of thing you can set up here. If I had a whole load of gears in the logistics network, rather than pulling them off the belt, I could pull them off with a requester. If I shift right click on a factory and then left click on a box, this now has a request for everything that the factory needs to work. Okay. And Pop quiz. Why is that icon flashing? The thing that is a drone port but looks like an alien head, because that happens to fall outside lodging range, right? So to get it back, I would need to put down a roboport. And we will put it down there just to be neat. Okay, in a minute, a construction bot will come over, build that, and our flashing light stops flashing. Okay, so this will now request out of the network any iron plate, any gears. That's it, really. I'm going to leave it there. That is the vanilla how to use robots tutorial. There's like an endless art to using them in high performance situations, but this is the meat and two potatoes, what you'll be using them for before you build a mega base with bot-based production facilities. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the how to use robots series. If you have, like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me smiley faces, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.